going on, everybody? It is your observant lineman here, Uche Nwaneri. Welcome to Lineman Life Live. Hope everybody's had a productive Monday. It is Monday. The grind begins again. And of course, as you know, sports news, things that we love to keep up with, us fans of us. We'll be on top of that today. We are going to start, obviously. Talked a little bit about this on Twitter, said I'd have something ready for you guys when we started. I'm going to do a breakdown. Tim Tebow. There is another clip that is surfaced that shows the former quarterback, now tight end of the Jacksonville Jaguars, blocking. And he went viral for the first clip that released out on the internet, but let's be real here. There was something worse. And we're going to look at that right here, right now. Before we do that, make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Welcome to the live stream. Let's get into it. So we are going to start out here. We're going to do a breakdown of Tim Tebow's other play that many people are just now seeing. I just saw this for the first time today. This is a clip, a deep red zone, I think. It looks like well, obviously, yes, they're deep in the red zone here. And in this, this to me looks like a short yardage situation. But I've broken this play down. I've broken it down significantly. So first and foremost, I'd like to send a shout out to Tactic Pro. Tactic Pro provides a graphic system that allows you to edit sports videos and add illustration to them. Now, these guys definitely looked out for me. They hooked me up with a license for their software. They are over in London. And no, these guys did not pay me to say any of this. I just wanted to make sure that I got that out there so guys know what it is I'm using. I think they got some really amazing software. I used a couple of different ones last season, and I settled on theirs, reached out to them, spoke with them, and they were more than happy to let me use their software in doing my football breakdown. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get started into this. Now, again, this is short yardage, it seems like, and they are in the deep red, so they're inside the 10-yard line here. And this is, I think this is probably the third group, potentially, second or third group that's in for both teams in the preseason game from this past weekend. Now we're going to go ahead and start this video. And I'm going to be breaking it down pretty extensively here because there's a lot of things that I really wanted to take a look at and talk to you guys about, because even though this is a terrible job that's done by Tebow, there's a lot going on here that maybe people don't necessarily know about when it comes to, the anatomy of a play. And there are some things that I'll get to. We'll start it up right now, but I'll get to these things here in a moment once we get deeper into the breakdown. But to start it off, and I've got this running a little bit slower than normal for this breakdown, just so we can get all our talking points in here. Now, we're going to focus on the right side of the line here because this is where everything happens. And first off, for me, when I look at this, from the things that I know about being in these situations, my first coaching point to Tebow in this, and as you see, Tebow's 85 right here over the defensive end. I look at this, and my first thing that I want to say is splits. Splits are important in football. Splits are important, especially when you're in the red zone, when you're in short yardage situations. Now, generally, you're going to look at splits as, and many people probably don't know this, but the average split on a regular play, and splits change depending on the play. They change, and they're not always the same. So all splits are not created equal. And now in this case, I look at this situation here. We've got an over front, so the strength of the offense is on the right. This is the strength of the offense here. And you've got your three techniques shaded to that side. So that is the strength of the defense. They're playing over, so they're matching strength for strength. And in this, my first critique here is if I'm Tebow, and this is, obviously coming from somebody who has been a blocker his entire football career, except for high school. But, one thing that you have to be aware of when you are getting into these situations is, what is the concept of the play? Where are we trying to attack as an offense? And in this situation, this is a dive play. This is a play that's going down the A gap. This is a short yardage situation. So there's not going to be a lot of movement by the running back. He's going to take one quick drop step and move forward. He's going straight up and down. On this, I'm looking at Tebow and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you're going to be matched up on the defensive end to the strong side. This is going to be a tough block for any tight end in any normal circumstance in the game. But you have control over a couple of things here that you definitely need to make sure you pay attention to as you get to the line of scrimmage. This defensive end is going to line up wherever your line. He has a gap. So he is playing on this outside gap here. That is his responsibility. If I'm Tebow and I know that these guys here are double teaming, I'm going to open this split, probably a good foot, to move him out just a little bit more, because you're not getting any help here. And your goal and your objective is to keep him from taking this gap on any kind of stunt. And you want to drive him on an angle away from the middle of the line. You want to drive him towards the goal line on about a 45, 20, maybe a 35-degree angle. You want to get him moving. Nobody expects you to drive this guy 5 yards, but that should be your objective. That way, when you do come off the ball and you make contact and you initiate your block, you're fighting to drive him 5. You may only drive him 1 or 2, but you want to keep him separated from this gap. You want to keep your body in between him and this area where the running back is going to be, looking for a space to run into. So that would be my first critique there. Widen your split a little bit. Give yourself a chance to be able to use some space to get him out of the way. Now here with the guard in the center, this is a vertical run. So a vertical run on a 3 technique here, you're going to have a double team. This is going to be something that is going to really, for me, looking at this play, it's kind of weird how these guys, and again, these aren't starters, but it's weird to me how they had this called based on where the defenders are in this. So we'll go in the first couple steps. Now, as you look on this double team, this is not a good double team. Looking at it here, right now, your tackle is leaning. His legs are behind him. As a double team goes, you want to connect at the hip. Between the guard and the tackle, you want to connect at the hip. So that means you have to take a lateral step. You have to get your second foot in the ground. So that's got to be a quick 2 steps to get yourself over a little bit and stay square to move vertical off that second step up the field. Same thing here with the guard. I think the guard drop steps. He does a bad job here, and he opens up that foot, which is completely, against the principles of running a double team block. You want to, again, take one, because you're the inside guard and you have a 3 technique, you want to take a small step, just a small lateral step. If we run it back a little bit, you can see that's a zone step that you're taking right there. That's a zone step. That's not the kind of step you want to take when you are trying to perform a double team block. You want to literally take one lateral step with your toe still pointed up the field, bring your second step quick, and that second step is up the field. So you're balanced, you have strength, you want to make contact on that second step. You're going to have your base underneath you. It's going to be a straight base. You're not going to be spread out at the legs. Same thing here with the tackle. And you guys are going to basically be connected at the hip, moving vertically to block this guy. You're working against each other when one guy is leaning and the other guy is leaning. And that's what we have here. His foot's off the ground. Now, he should have eyes for this linebacker, because this is a play that splits the defense in half. These two over here, the left guard and the center, should have basically the same technique as this side does, but it's obviously going to be a little bit more of an angle for this guard, not this much, but just a tad bit more, so that you can get connected with the center. He's going to come in to put some mustard on that, probably end up putting this guy on the guard as he moves up to this linebacker here. But based on what they showed in this clip, it seems to me like they had the linebackers flipped and how they wanted to block this. And it didn't make sense to me because it really goes against the matchups that you want to have for blocking down in the red zone. So this guard here is going to have should have his eyes for this linebacker who will flow over the top because he sees this. This is a downhill movement by the running back. Like I said before, he's going straight downhill. So you have to be ready for that, and you have to definitely be moving this guy off the ball so that you can come off vertically and overtake this linebacker if he shoots into this gap. If he shoots back this way, then the tackle would come off and pick him up in the same fashion. Now, if you're looking at this, they're both leaning. So if this guy decides to shoot this gap, it's going to be too difficult for him to adjust his body and get in a position to make that block. But let's keep looking at the way that this plays out. Again, like I said, this is a play that is designed, based on my knowledge of the game, to cut the defense in half and give the running back a single downhill route to pick up either the first down or to get across the goal line. And it's weird. I have a question about whether or not strategically these guys knew exactly what they were supposed to do. Now, with Tebow's situation here is that he understepped on his first step, which meant he dropped this foot back, which puts you out of whack because you should be making your first step with this leg. And that, again, should be the same as these guys. A short step laterally with your toes pointed up the field and your hands inside, underneath. The three pillars of run blocking are eyes up, hands inside, feet underneath. You want to have your feet underneath you. You want to have your hands inside your frame so that you can shoot them out inside of the defender's frame. That's where the battle of leverage starts. You want to have your eyes up so you can see what you're blocking, because you got to be able to see what you block or you're not going to block. You will block where your eyes tell you to block. And in Tebow's situation here, that drop step hurts him initially because now he's behind on getting to where he needs to be in his run blocking. So with that, he doesn't really have a good base. He doesn't look like he's comfortable with his feet on the ground. There's a lot of bouncing from his feet. So here, because now his eyes are down, this guy has the awareness enough to feint inside and then club over the top of him. Still defending his gap. He's still in his gap. Tebow is off of his feet. And as you see us go through this, he's on his toes, and it's just not something that's going to work when you're trying to block a guy. You have to know where you want to take him, so you got to know how you take him there when it comes to your technique and your footwork is where everything starts. That's where you get all the power that you're going to use in your block comes from having your feet in the ground. He doesn't have that here. Now the running back gets the ball, and running backs are taught to run away from color. So when he gets the ball here, his vision is looking here. He sees color. These guys don't have a solid double team. They're not actually connected and moving this guy off the ball. They're going to get split. So his vision will then take him over here where he sees a gap, but you have your tight end who is already beat. He's got his eyes down. He's got his hands out wild to the side. He's off of his feet. And this defensive end is in perfect position. He's already turned his hips. He's already clubbed him. His eyes are looking directly at the ball. He is on a destruction course with the ball. And you'll see here, it's as simple as that with him clubbing over the top, and now the running back is dead in the water. The running back is dead in the water. Now, another reason why I think strategically, I'm not really sure what this play, how they designed this play to go up against any defensive front in the red zone when you have two receivers who are out here on the side flanking the tight end, and your assignment for one of the receivers is to pick up the linebacker. To me, that doesn't make any sense. That's not even a matchup. He's going to get destroyed. He's not going to get this guy cut out of this area at wide receiver. That's what these guys, your right guard and your right tackle, that's where they should be doubling up the field to him because he is going to come to them. No homo. And it looks to me, as I watch this, that these two were double teaming to this guy. So it's either a mental error, which there's a chance of that. These are young guys. They don't necessarily know what they're doing on the field. And these guys are going to this front side guy, which would put your front side guard and center on a safety, which doesn't make sense. That's not a sound strategy in football. That's not a sound matchup. Now, back to this. With our running back and him being, shut out by this defensive end who got past Tim Tebow pretty easily, almost pretty much instantly. You see here, now he's stuck. He's dead. This guy just has to make the tackle. He doesn't even have to make the tackle. But other than that, the linebacker who was over the guard and center, now he is played over the top, and he's going to come free to make a hit. And that's where I look at this, and I'm wondering, what did they think Cleveland was going to come out in, and how did they make this call to send your linemen to the wrong two individuals, to these two guys, and leaving a receiver matched up on a linebacker, which that's a bad matchup, from top to bottom. That's not where you'll rarely see offenses put receivers in positions like this in the red zone of all places where they have to dig out a linebacker. That is counterproductive for them to be able to have success during any play. And with this, the running back is dead in the water. He's got people coming from both sides, and the only thing he can do is take this ass whooping because they're going to be all over him just like they were there. And, I mean, come on. Look, Timmy, you missed the block. There is no point in doing this. I mean, why jump on the pile? I mean, what is that doing? You've already missed everything. It's all done. The receiver here, same thing. These guys were in bad positions. This should not be the play you run. Or if you're going to run this play, then you definitely have to have the strengths of your offense going against their strengths, which I would say is putting your offensive linemen on the backers as part of their double team assignment. And that, it makes no sense to me in just the way that this play is designed and how they're blocking it. It's not going to work against anybody because you have receivers taking on things that they shouldn't be taking on. And your linemen are going to the wrong guys. These two linemen should be going to that backer, and these two linemen should be going to that backer. That way, this guy comes off. He's too high. His defender has been under him the entire play. So he comes off, and he actually is able to cover this guy up, which gives your running back a chance. I mean, even if, well, no, not really, still, because Tebow didn't get it done when it came to picking up this block. So that is what destroys a run play. Penetration will always destroy a run play because there is no way and nowhere for the running back to make something happen. So that is, why this play looks as bad as it looks. And yes, this is worse than what he did in the previous play that we saw that I did a video on for Tim Tebow. That's really bad right there on everybody for the most part. The running back had no chance from the very beginning, and that is, as they say, all she wrote. You can't win when you're in a situation like that, and your guys are not blocking the way that you would hope that they would. Now, that's pretty much the lowdown on how that play went. And, look, people are piling on him. But this is what you get when you are a guy who has had his shot in the NFL. You were a first round pick, 24th pick, I believe it was, in the draft. You are, you had a short career. He played what? I think 4 years. He went and played baseball. And he came back into this, and, when you have a guy like Tim Tebow, who's both polarizing and very popular, and you come back into the limelight the way you did, you're going to be you're going to be someone who's scrutinized. You're going to be somebody who's looked at under a microscope, and that's what they did, and that's what they'll continue to do because you have a head coach who the connection between you two is undeniable, and it really does seem like this was just a good look from your coach to get you in the team for training camp. Now, if we're being realistic and we're talking about does he really deserve to make the 53-man roster? As of right now, no. But, I mean, it's only the first preseason game. So I'll be fair and say he got 3 more to go. I think if he really, really wants to make this team and make the 53-man roster, he should be focusing on special teams because that is the only place, I believe, where he has a shot. Be a guy who's going to run down on kickoff, a guy who's going to run down on punt. That is probably going to be your ticket to make the 53-man if you really want to make it. But as it stands, you're not a tight end, and you're definitely not playing quarterback. So where do you fit into this roster? Where do you fit in? Above guys who are younger than you, guys who are faster than you, guys who've been playing the position longer than you. Even with with the level of athleticism that Tebow has, it still is not. You don't get the value of it because you can't play him at any position. And expect him to perform to the level that you're going to need if you think you're going to win or have a chance to win on Sundays. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat if you got any questions that you really want to ask. Hey, why not leave a super chat and make sure that you get my full attention when it comes to all things on this Lineman Life live stream. Now, looking at what you guys are talking about, I'm sure everybody also is well aware of the situation with the NFL and this taunting rule that they are emphasizing. I did a video on that as well. Make sure you go check that out if you get a chance on my channel. So this taunting thing, we've seen it before. I think we've seen it before. We've all seen the NFL try to lay the hammer on player celebrations. And, one can argue that taunting is a part of that. One can argue that taunting is part of the player interaction and celebrating thing. Like, it's been around since forever. I mean, especially in modern age NFL, from 2000 on, this is what you see. This is what personalities that have become superstars, you see them have that kind of emotion in the game. They have those signature taunts, if you will. Obviously, we all know about Cam Newton. Cam Newton and his little Superman thing. His little dance. It takes like 5 minutes for him to do it, but he does it every time he gets into the end zone and does his Clark Kent. We all know about that. Deshaun Jackson. We've seen his are historic because of some of the huge plays that he's had. New York Giants. When the punter punted him the ball with no time left and he just runs it back for a touchdown, or something like this where you see him stopping at the goal line and taunting as he goes in. That's who Deshaun Jackson is. That's what he does. These are things that make players, give players that personality, that celebrity. Like it's all there. Ezekiel Elliott. We all know about him. Keep eating. He's eating. He's scooping that macaroni out the bowl. He's chomping down. He's getting a little gut, but he's chomping down because he's getting them yards. We all know about that. So the NFL decides, and can we even this is probably the most famous one right now in the NFL. This is probably the most famous one right now in the NFL. Cheetah. The cheetah with the peace sign as he dips out on what would be probably like the 50th defender trying to catch up with him. It's crazy. These are things that have been around, and it goes through all sports. I think the NFL, look, this is the reality of it to me. Brothers in the NFL, brothers in sports got swag. When they make plays, they let you know it. They let you know it. We all see it. It ain't even just the black players, the white players too. Everybody has their thing. Travis Kelce, I mean, who else has great celebrations? Any other players? Any non-black players who have great celebrations? I mean, shoot, there's plenty, I'm sure, but I mean, everybody has emotion. Everybody is into the game. Like you can't play football. You can't have fun on this field if you're not playing with some emotion. And I mean, it's not even a game if you can't have fun, right? So if you can't have fun, then what are you out there for? This is what people dedicate their lives to. They love it. They enjoy it. They thrive in it. So the NFL is, again, just showing us their level of tone deafness when they literally choose the emotion in the game to target. For what reason? For what reason? This is a competitive sport full of guys who are ultra competitors. It makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. See, what are you guys talking about in here? Making the game stale with ticky-tack rules. Yeah, I think it's a ticky-tack rule. I do. Now, like I said in my video, if you haven't checked out my video, go check it out on this. It was geared and targeted at the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts had a heck of a run play in their preseason game. Running back, O-line, they got stuffed at about four yards gained, and they just kept trucking forward, and they picked up about 6-7 more yards on the run. It was one of those plays that gets you hyped up, because that's a physical play. That's a tempo play. That sets a tempo. You got guys working harder, working to get yards. You got guys running their feet, sweat, blood, everything in there, and they're pushing and pushing, and you're bending a defense backwards when you do that. Story time. I'll never forget, we played against the Denver Broncos. I think this was like 2008, 2009 season. And my God, we ran 36 power. I was left guard at the time. That was my second year. We ran 36. We got the ball with I think like 8 minutes left in the game. We were up by 3, I believe it was, or something small. And, we had to possess the ball. It's 4-minute drill. You have to possess the ball. You have to be able to run the ball. And we ran one play 14 times in a row. One play, 36 power. I believe that drive for me was probably one of the most painful winning drives I've ever been involved in. Mainly because I was the puller, and after like the third time of us running it right down their throat, they knew that that's what was coming. It was the same play over and over. We didn't even barely stay in the huddle long. And by like play 10, I had a headache. And on the last play that we ran to seal the game, giving it to Fred Taylor on 36 power, we got hit at the line of scrimmage, like maybe a yard past the line, and it was the same thing. Offensive line chugging their feet. Everybody's pushing, and you just slowly see the Denver defense begin to break. We went from 2-yard gain to 3-yard gain to 4-yard gain to 8-yard gain to 12 yards, game over. And you get hyped about that, because that is what this shit is all about. That's what it's all about. No doubt. So, when I see this type of stuff is getting flagged, like, and with the Indianapolis Colts, it wasn't even like he actually celebrated in any kind of unique way. He just got hyped. He literally exhaled that emotion from his lungs, because he felt it the same way that the fans felt it, the same way that the announcers felt it. He felt that energy. And they flagged him. And that's a 15-yard flag. So you know what else he's getting on Wednesday? He's getting a letter from the NFL with a fine attached to it. Now, I believe they'll rescind that fine, because if you look at it and if they review it, it's clear that it's garbage. It's a terrible foul. It is an awful, awful foul, or a penalty to assess to a player for just being excited for a big play. So I think that'll get rescinded. But it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous that you can get a flag just for showing your emotion in the game in a positive way, not even in a negative way, in a positive way. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. It really does. It really is a turnoff to me. In my video, I said that I think that they'll reel that in as the regular season comes. I still believe that because the backlash, obviously, is part of that. The backlash has been huge because it's kind of counterproductive to have a rule like that in the game, especially a game like football, which is built on aggressiveness and built on competitiveness and being violent. I mean, guys are going to talk crap on the field. That happens. As long as it doesn't turn into things that disrupt the flow of the game, then it shouldn't be a problem. But definitely, I definitely think that they'll reel that back. I don't think that's going to be something that is going to be called as strictly as they're saying they're going to call it. I don't think that's going to be the case because there's just not anything more detrimental to a team, especially because you have coaches who preach about loving the game, about going out there and having good energy and playing with emotion. This is counter to all of those principles that are basically embedded in players from youth to be that way. So I do think that it will get reeled in once we get to the regular season. I don't think that's going to hold up very long. What's going on, chat? Chat, y'all are a little quiet in there. A little quiet. I don't see that much going on. Yeah, peace sign going to the end zone. Yeah, that's tame. That's like that can hardly be considered taunting. And this reminds me, back in the 90s when Deion Sanders was playing with the 49ers and he was, at the height of his popularity, Deion would start high-stepping on these kick returns, on these interception returns. When he's smoked the entire team and he's got nobody behind him, he'd start high-stepping from about like 20 yards out. And after about 2 or 3 weeks of that, the NFL changed the rule the next season, and they penalized guys for high-stepping outside of the 10-yard line. So that's another example of them trying to take away some of that extra flair that comes with the game. I mean, these are the things that make the game as big as it is. The flair of it, the excitement, the electricity. And Deion, every time he got a punt return, you were waiting. Here he goes. He's about to run it back. Whether it be with the Falcons, the Niners, the Cowboys. Anytime he touched the ball, people were just ready to see prime time, ready to see him high step from 30 yards out and then start dancing in the end zone. That was legendary. That's legendary in the game. That's legendary. So to say that he would get penalized for something like that now is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It was crazy. Shoot. Deion, man, let me see if I can find. I mean, I hope I don't get hit with no copyright or nothing, but let me see. Let me pull Deion up on there on one of those. I know he's on there. There we go. Boom. Boom. Man. Let's check out this video.
Time to the 10, up across the 15, to the 20, cuts outside to the 25, he's off to the races, he's at the 50.
Look at him, they laughing. He ain't even running with the ball right half the time.
Deion scores a touchdown. Unbelievable. What an amazing athlete. He just ran.
And to return punts and kickoffs on special teams.
Here's a lateral and another lateral, a triple lateral. Deion Sanders now at the 30, the 35, 40.
Look at him. He already started high stepping. He wasn't even at the 50.
Catch him. He's on his way for a touchdown. Neon Deion saluting as he goes. Wouldn't you know? He'd find a way.
Deion, baby.
A slot left. Wade Wilson under center. Jamie Dukes. He's back to throw.
He ain't a wide receiver, is he? Yes, he is. Damn.
At the 5, got it. Touchdown.
These opportunities. He's in the 4
Okay.
and they go to him. Sanders got away. That could be
Okay.
That is 6-10. He's high stepping from the
Look at him.
25-yard line.
From 25 yards out. When I was a kid, I used to try and do that when I'd be out playing with my homies in the fields when we were playing football. I'd be out there trying. I had the red bandana on, snatch a ball, be high stepping, doing the Dion. Come on, man. That's what people love. That's what people love. Everywhere.
With the score 7-3 pack in the second quarter, far, but drop back. Deion Sanders makes the pick, and he could go all the way. Touchdown. Put it down. 10-7.
Dion
Late
was a
fourth quarter,
beast.
Canal trying to be a player, prime time player hating.
Yeah, there he goes.
Player hating agree. 8 career interception returns for a touchdown. One off of Tim Houston's NFL record of 9. Dion high stepping from 30 yards out. He said, "I try to score every
penalty." Sanders getting
Look
set
at him.
for the
They
punt
like, man, we
return.
don't punt him the ball. Don't punt it to
don't
him.
want to kick away from him. The festive moves, busting through people outside.
Kicker.
He's going
The
69
punter,
yards.
cut. Look at him. He's running
One to
faster
beat.
than anybody.
He
The
beat
kicker
him.
trying
He's
to get
in.
to him because he's the one who
17
screwed
zip.
up.
to take the lick and get the stick."
Uh-oh.
The licking and takes the licking and keeps
Nope.
on ticking.
Oh, that was a block in the
Deion
back.
Sanders.
Ain't call that.
He could go
Look at him.
all the way. With the
Look at
score
him.
31-20, Deion ices it.
All time. He's only 3 behind the all-time.
Man. Dion. What else they got here? That's Devin Hester. But yeah, I mean that is the game. That's football. That's football right there. Oh, we got a super chat from Jason Gaines. What up, man? Jason Gaines. For $5, he says, Uche, was your move a local move or did you move at ATL? Also, what was it like being on the field during Garrard's game-winning TD pass versus the Texans in 2010? No, I'm still local. I'm Marietta area. Just waiting on this closing to get done so I can get the movers to take everything over into the new spot. But yeah, man. Never thought I'd be on the field for a Hail Mary. Never thought I'd be on the field for a Hail Mary. We were playing the Houston Texans, and we were all set to go to overtime. And we had one play left, 3 seconds left on the clock. And, you know, it's so cliche, but we got in the huddle. We were in the huddle, and I was like, you know, it feels like something's going to happen this play. I said it just to I think it was Guy Wimper. He was the lineman next to me. I was just like, we were still in the timeout, but you know, we were just everybody just kind of relaxed for a second. And I'm in the huddle. I'm like, I feel like something's gonna happen this play. I feel like we're gonna get something to make something happen. And you know, he just was, you know, he gave me that look like, okay. I mean, I said, shoot, I ain't trying to go to overtime. Damn it, I'm trying to get the hell out of here. But you know, we came out the huddle. We ran the play. You know, there's a picture. I'll find it for the next stream, and I'll show it to you guys. There's a picture of me and one of our offensive linemen, Jordan Black. Oh, that's who it was, Jordan. Me and Jordan Black, like, running towards each other with our arms spread, like, after he caught the ball. But, yeah, it was crazy, man. You know, you see the ball go up in the air, and, you know, we're watching after the ball's thrown. So I'm watching the ball and I'm looking down the field to see who's down the field. And I see the defender from Houston just jump up, and he just did like this. And when he hit the ball, it didn't go straight down. He knocked it at like an angle. So it kind of like picked up some distance. And then I just saw Mike Thomas, little small Stephen Smith ass, come out of nowhere and just scooped the ball. And as soon as I saw that, I went crazy. We all ran to the back of the end zone, jumped on him. We got a penalty called on us. We still had to kick an extra point so the game could end. But no, that was that once in a career kind of play that just came out of nowhere. I thought that was pretty awesome. Man. Y'all want me to pull it up? All right, let me pull this shit up. All right, give me a second. Give me a second. I'll show, because I'm in there. I didn't even have to block nobody that play. They only rushed 3. Mario Williams was rushing on the defensive end, so I was chilling. Jaguars, Hail Mary. All right. Let's see. All right, so hoping we don't get no dang copyright claim on this, so I'll try and...
Or just depend on the deep guys to knock it away.
Whoa. All right. So here I am, right here.
Garrard steps up. Fires. Mike Sims Walker. Knocked down. Oh, he caught it! Oh, unbelievable! Mike Thomas! Touchdown Jags! Ball game! 50 yards! Whoa! 50 yards!
That's crazy, right?
Garrard steps up. Fires. Mike Sims Walker. Knocked down. Oh, he caught it! Oh, unbelievable! Mike Thomas!
The crowd went stupid on that one.
Touchdown Jags! Ball game! 50 yards! Whoa! David Garrard, big strong arm QB.
David Garrard buys enough time for the receivers to get down there, and you said it, Mike Sims Walker's going to go up for it, but it's knocked to the ground, right into the hand.
Picked up a little distance.
Right into the hands
He didn't even knock it to the ground.
of Mike Thomas. Glover Quinn knocks it down with both hands like a volleyball player, spiking it over the net, right into the catch of Mike Thomas. Unbelievable.
Almost dropped it. Oh yeah, man. That was it. That was the game. Yeah, Dave, man. Dave was a good quarterback, man. Oh, look at this shit. Heads up. We detected copyrighted audio and video in your stream. Your stream may be temporarily. Wow. Damn. Can a brother live? Can I live, please? Come on, YouTube. Leave me alone. Shit. Oh, man. So, yeah, Dave was a baller, man. The Jags did him dirty, too, man. Y'all don't even know about that. They did him dirty. Man, they dirty folks, Tim. They dirty folks, my boy Dave. And then, that whole coaching staff was pretty much a lame duck coaching staff. So they cut Dave, and then they just threw Blaine in there by like week 3. They threw him in there. Blaine was only at like 6 days of training camp, and they threw him in week 3. His position coach was not a quarterback coach, so he had a quarterback coach that had never even been at that position before. So he was just kind of thrown out to the wolves, and, I mean, you see kind of how his career started off in Jacksonville. It was not good for him, and that hurt him early on in his career. So, but, of course, things come full circle, and Blaine Gabbert has a Super Bowl ring. That's what happens to Jags players who get done dirty and get shipped off. They go other places and win. So, yeah. Let me see here. Oh, man, don't worry about it. So, I mean, a lot of good football memories. I don't know exactly what my favorite one would be. I mean, that's one of them for sure. The Hail Mary. I think the 59-yarder from Scobie to beat the Colts. I think that was another one. I mean, obviously the playoff run was a bunch of great memories. That was my rookie year. And I mean, just different things here and there. We had before, at least when we had Jack Del Rio, we had some good seasons. I mean, we had, I think when Jack was there, when I was there, we had like maybe 2 bad seasons. One of them was only bad because of injuries. That was my second year. And then that last year that he was there was a bad year. I think that otherwise, we had some competitive years. The year before Blaine got there, we had an 8-8 season. And then the year before that, I think we were like 7-9 or something. I don't know. But, decent stuff. But, again, the Jags just kind of had a problem with getting, just keeping the right pieces in place. a lot of times they did a lot of they made a lot of changes that were ill-advised changes. And, look, I have played through 3 rebuilds in my career in Jacksonville. I played through 3 rebuilds. I had 4 head coaches. I had 3 general managers. That's the kind of management that the Jaguars had at the time. So it wasn't really great to see those kinds of things happen, but still, man, got to live the dream. So that's always a good thing still, even aside from that. But moving on, NFL's top 100 part of it has dropped. I think they're at 41 right now. Not going to go through the whole list of them, but I did want to look at a couple that did catch my eye with the 100th player, James Robinson, Jaguar running back. Honestly, this guy deserves to be on the list after he had a good season. He had 1,400 yards from scrimmage. He had over 1,000 rushing as a rookie, an undrafted rookie is at that. So definitely a shout out to James Robinson. He hopefully will be allowed to continue to grow in Jacksonville. Like I said, management and decision-making is huge in a franchise, and its ability to actually get consistency and build on consistency. And that's where, for me, the draft pick that the Jags used on Etienne from Clemson was a wasted draft pick, because you have a running back who is an undrafted free agent who is shown to be a diamond in the rough, and all that I would think is necessary at this point is to nurture and grow his talent, to coach him into being a better player each year. You didn't have a problem there. I think that draft pick could have been used on the defensive side of the ball, could have been used on the offensive line. The Jags, I think, missed on that pick. I'm not saying Etienne isn't a good player, but he's not needed for the Jaguars. And that's where my philosophy on what Urban Meyer is doing is that he is not the kind of coach that you hire in to the NFL to rebuild a franchise. He is he's on record as saying that he's going to draft the best available player instead of drafting the player that you actually have a need for. And a running back, I would think, is not on that list of needs, especially after having this guy. So he comes out in the top 100 at 100. So we'll see if that moves up as time goes by. But that was, and then this is another one that I actually think that Cole Beasley should be ranked a little bit higher than 96. I would have put Cole Beasley in the 80s. I think that he is one of the best slot wideouts when you talk about a receiver who can catch a 4 or 5 yard slot pattern and get first downs, help you move the chains. I think he is that guy. I think he's one of the best at it, even though he's not necessarily a home run hitter. He's not a guy who you can throw a 5 yard route and he turned it into 40 yards, but he is reliable at catching the ball. 96, I think, is a little bit low for where he, based on his production. Aside from everything else that I don't agree with him on, I actually think he's a better player than what they're giving him credit for at 96. So that's that. Now, Tre'Davious White, I did not think was going to be on this side of 50. He's dropped 48 spots to 95. Oof. That was weird. That didn't make any sense to me. Who else we got on here? This is Corey Davis. Corey Davis is all right. Good. And let me see. 90 to 81. Yeah, I don't know half of the Tristan Wirfs. That's another player. He could be up 5, maybe 10 spots. That cat had a good year as a rookie at right tackle, playing with the Bucks. The dude was actually pretty clutch for them. I watched him a lot during the season when their games would come on. And that dude played well. He played really well most of the season. And he was far better than the left tackle that the Bucks have. I forget that bum's name, but he is garbage. And Wirfs is better than him right now as a player going into his second season. That's a player that I think definitely should be up higher. Shaquille Barrett, damn, these cats, look at these drops, 56 places. Damn. I mean, did they just win the Super Bowl? Allen Robinson, I think Allen Robinson is underrated like a mug for sure. Definitely underrated. Zack Martin had injuries last year, I believe. Yeah, he had a calf injury. He was on IR by December. But Zach's a cool dude. I know him. I was in Dallas for a little bit, so I got to know him a little bit as well. And good dude. Probably, definitely ranked higher than 85. But when you have injuries and you kind of played through that season, he played through that season with injuries and kind of slowed him down. But he'll probably bounce back from that this year. Ryan Tannehill, I think that's about right for him. Let's see, Godwin, yeah. I don't see a ton of things that I don't agree with just at face value. Quandre Diggs, Tyler Lockett, Laramie Tunsil. This guy's a bum. He's terrible. I don't know what the hell they got him over. I broke down a couple of games of his film. That guy is not in the top 100, in my opinion. Hell no. What you guys talking about over here? Really, not a ton of players here that are going to be, this one. Oh my goodness. This one was a shock because, I felt like this guy had a heck of a season. And he was playing injured. Michael Thomas at 72. What is this? This is crazy. Wow. Every time I saw that cat on the field, he looked like he was doing work. I don't expect Michael Thomas to be, just sprinting past cats down the field, but definitely not 72. Definitely not 72. Let's see here. Josh Jacobs, yeah, that fits. KJ Wright, linebacker. JJ Watt, JJ Watt, I think he gets that a little bit on name. I think I might have him in the, I think that's fine. That's fine for him. Calvin Ridley. So if these are the guys who are in the backside of 50, then who the hell's in the top? A.J. Brown, who's in the top 50? Chase Young, 61. Chase Young, yeah, Chase Young's good. He's really good right now. He's really good. I'm just breezing through this, guys. So, I don't know if y'all expected me to have a in-depth breakdown for these, but that would take forever. I'm just kind of floating through just to see what they got. Jason Pierre-Paul, that boy is nice. Not going to front. He nice with one hand. One hand. Tyrann Mathieu, yeah, he's good. Cameron Hayward, I always thought Cameron Hayward was overrated. Always thought he was overrated. Don't know why they got him there. This kid right here, now he should be on the front side of 50 if you ask me. He's going to be a superstar. He's going to be a superstar. So, and this cat is already a star. He's another cat who I feel like is on the front side of 50. They got him at 55, so, not far off. Grady Jarrett's good. Justin Jefferson came into his own this year. Minka's a baller. Zadarius Smith, solid. You got some good calls here. You got some that got me scratching my head a little bit, but George Kittle at 50, yeah, he was dealing with injuries, so you're going to drop when you deal with injuries like he did last year. But, I mean, I think he'll boost back up. Now, this is one that I think is a little bit weird, too. Mike Evans being at 48. I didn't really pay too much attention to his season. But, oh, wow. What? Slid out of the top 30, but 2020 was his year. So how do you slide out of the top 30, but 2020 was your year? I mean, he got a Super Bowl, 1,000 yards in each of his first 7 seasons. I mean, come on, that's crazy. Shoot, 13 tugs. I mean, come on, 13 touchdowns. Come on, man. Stefan Gilmore. Hold on. Didn't he have like a really rough season, Stefan Gilmore? I mean, he dropped 38 spots, but I always thought this cat was overrated too. I always thought Cam Jordan was overrated. That cat is not that dude to me. I played against him. I did not think he was that dude. Not at all. But, hey, I don't make these lists. McCaffrey, yeah, he's down. This is a cat who should be in the top 20. This cat right here should be in the top 20. I watched this cat play one game and make every play for like 8 plays in a row. Knocking down passes, tackling behind the line, tackling for no gain, covering tight ends. This cat, Levante David, is a beast. Oh, Trent Williams. Can't nobody ever forget about that block that cat had. That block he had where he just ran straight up the line and just straight clowned some cats. Just knocked this dude straight on his ass. Straight on his ass. Yeah, so that's all the way up to 41. I think they're going to be releasing the rest of this as the week goes on. I'm not sure how they're doing it. Try to keep up with it as I can. And to kind of finish things out on this live stream, I want to take a look at something that just kind of started breaking. I'm not sure how much traction this is going to get, but it is noteworthy because this is something that is become kind of a hot button topic in sports. I'm not sure I am decidedly on one side of this argument or another because I think there's 2 sides to this that you have to give a good amount of attention to in order to really kind of have perspective. But even then, it's still a very sensitive thing because everybody is different. Now, obviously, this is dealing with Naomi Osaka. And I guess there was an incident that happened today. She had her first press conference since pulling out of the French Open. And in this press conference, she was asked a pointed question, an aggressively toned question, they're saying, an aggressively toned question. And this created an emotional reaction from Naomi Osaka, and the people are beginning to talk about this. Honestly, I empathize with Naomi in her situation. She's in a little bit different situation than most athletes are in. I mean, she's not in a team sport. She's in an individual sport, like I've said before. And she is, by all reasonable estimations, the best women's tennis player in the world. And, she's come out and talked about in the past her issues in dealing with anxiety and dealing with mental health issues and dealing with the press in tennis is not the same as, it's not the kind of thing that I think many people understand how different it is than sports that we see media interactions with on a daily basis. Your footballs, your basketballs, your baseball, hockey, things like that. You don't really see the same kind of interactions in those as you do with these sports, which are more international. Tennis is more of an international sport. And there is a reputation that some of these media outlets hold for how they handle and talk with athletes in tennis. So let's take a quick listen to this. I have not listened to this yet, but I did see the headline and I did a little reading, and then I said, let me come back, let me grab the video, let me see if there's a video out there for it, and then I'll talk about it because, again, I'm torn on this because I can understand both sides. And I think there is absolutely credibility to multiple arguments on this. And I don't think that it's as simple as some think it is. But at the same time, I don't want people to overthink this, because there is a difference. And there are some things that are, that can be segregated in regards to what you expect an athlete to do and how you expect an athlete to respond, and where you got to kind of draw a line for yourself as an athlete, so you protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, the media will portray an image of you in a way that they see fit, not necessarily in the way that you see fit. I think that we all know that. So I'm not, and I'm looking at the chat here just so you guys know. I'm not going to I'm not in this looking to bash or pile on Naomi Osaka, because I don't think there's any reason to. But I'm interested to see how this segment played out with her. So let's take a listen, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts at the end of it.
Do for myself, and more than anything, like, I felt like I holed up in my house for a couple weeks, and I was a little bit embarrassed to go out because I didn't know if people were looking at me in a different way than they usually did before. But I think the biggest eye-opener was going to the Olympics and having other athletes come up to me and say that they were really glad that I did what I did. So after all that, I'm proud of what I did, and I think that it was something that needed to be done. Yeah.
Hopefully it's okay if I ask a couple of tennis questions. The first one is just how the training has been and how your preparation has been for the summer hardcourt swing. And the second one is just related to your tweet over the weekend, related to what's going on in Haiti. Just what your reaction is to the news there. Thank you.
No, you're super good.
Okay, I think we're just going to take a quick break. We'll be back in one moment.
Do for myself.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what happened there. I know that there was a question asked. Let me see. I'm not sure. Let me see. There's an article on this. Let me pull it up real quick. It's probably already disappeared. Let's see here. Okay. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Man, I don't want to go through all this stuff. So, I mean, look, I from what I'm seeing here, and from what is being reported, it says that she was asked an aggressive question. Now, from what I'm seeing on the video, from what is on this video, I'm not sure exactly what it is that she was asked that caused the uproar. Let me see. Okay, so let's see. It says here, because I guess we got to go through this. I want to have more context. That video didn't really give me much context at all. Tennis superstar Naomi Osaka broke down in tears and had to briefly step away on Monday during her first press conference since withdrawing from the French Open. Cincinnati Enquirer journalist Paul Daugherty referenced the world's number two's withdrawal from May's French Open on Monday, following her decision not to attend press conferences at the tournament to protect her mental health. You're not crazy about dealing with us, especially in this format, yet you have a lot of outside interests that are served by having a media platform, Daugherty said. Oh, I guess my question is, how do you balance the two? And also, do you have anything you'd like to share with us about what you did say to Simone Biles? He added in reference to the gymnastics great's withdrawal from several Tokyo Olympic Games events to prioritize her mental health. Let's see. When you say I'm not crazy about dealing with you guys, what does that refer to? The 23-year-old Japanese four-time major champion said. Man, that's crazy. You know what? It's you know what, guys? Look, and this is something that we kind of forget. We forget that she's only 23. She doesn't seem like she's 23, but she's only 23. Like, and this is years into her career. So this is not somebody who is, you know, necessarily a grizzled veteran of this sport. She's been playing it her whole life, sure, but in the public eye as a champion, she's only been doing this for, you know, a number of years. It hasn't been a ton. She's 23 years old. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit different in dealing with somebody who has that kind of pressure on them. I mean, I was 23 years old as a rookie in the NFL. So if, you know, it's nothing compared to what she's dealing with. She's the, you know, one of the best, if not the best women's tennis player in the world. And we only get to see a small fraction of what she goes through in her daily life when it comes to dealing with her career and doing things of that nature. And of course, people are going to say, oh, well, what about all these magazine covers she was on? I mean, again, it's obvious. Those covers were done far in advance of any of this stuff that's come out. And, you know, people tried to associate those magazine covers with her using mental health as some type of excuse, when in reality, this is a young woman who is in a position that you just don't see people in this world in general. And that does come with a lot of stress that I'm sure can be damaging when it's your first kind of exposure to that is on such a worldwide level. And I mean, can you imagine though? I mean, it's sometimes, you know, you got to kind of take that into consideration. I mean, this is not somebody who is truly like grown like that. This is not somebody who's truly grown like that. She says, I feel this is something I can't really speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself, but ever since I was younger, I had a lot of media interest on me, and I think it's because of my background as well as how I play. Okay. Osaka noted that she's not really sure how to balance it all, adding, I'm figuring it out at the same time as you are, I would say. Which is an honest answer. That's an honest answer. I cannot, where can I get mad at that? Where can I get mad at how she's answering that? I mean, she was emotional on camera. She's not hiding her emotions. And I don't feel like it's a pity party. I think that she's explaining things in a fairly logical way. And you just got to kind of consider that. I mean, this world that we live in today is a much different world than it was for athletes even 10 years ago. So there's so many things that can be distractions. There's so many things that are expected. There's so many different ways that you're kind of forced to interact in a world where maybe you're not that into interacting like that. And it can cause issues. It can cause anxiety. It can cause depression. These are things that are not unheard of with athletes. You just don't hear about them because that's not what the media wants to show when they're trying to build somebody up as as a superstar, or when they're trying to, push any kind of narrative that will create, pressure, more pressure for an athlete. Questioning whether they have the ability to accomplish the things they want to accomplish. Now, is there a certain part of that that's expected because you're an athlete, because you're a competitor? I would say, sure, yeah, there is. I would say there is. There is some expectation for you to have that, have a personality that matches the fierceness with which you perform. And I think that is part of where a lot of this clashes and creates issues where you see players, some athletes unravel a little bit behind that. It's because you see how well they play and you expect their confidence and their personality to match the way that they play. And a lot of times you see that, but then there are some times when you don't. There are people who are more humble, who are more soft-spoken, who really don't engage in, the internet in the way that one might expect. And then you have those who do want to engage, but they don't feel as confident in themselves necessarily when they engage, because there's different narratives around who they are and what they can do and where they're being successful or where they're underperforming. Like, the media takes advantage of all of that and they use it all. So you can get confused into thinking, well, I thought that, these people thought of me this way, but really they're putting out, they're putting out information and media content that puts you in a different light. So there's a lot to deal with there, and I can empathize with that. That has got to be a stressful thing to deal with. That's why, you see some of the older top athletes you see, they don't even pay attention to the media. They don't even, they participate, but they participate on their terms. I mean, you look at a guy like Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is kind of in a way like Naomi Osaka. He's not made for interacting with the media. He is a football player, and that is pretty much where it starts and ends. The NFL wrestled with him for years about his lack of interaction with the media because he doesn't like to. This is a guy who's very introverted, and you do see him in a lot of media, a lot of corporate endorsement material, but a lot of that is really playing off of the fact that he is such an introvert, and he has very few words. So they've kind of molded an image around that, even to a certain extent. So there is many aspects of this that make it more complex than one might think. He showed up at the Super Bowl one year, and he literally sat at the media day press conferences for the Super Bowl and did not answer a single question. Only thing he said, and it is famous to this day, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." That should tell you a lot. I mean, and that's Marshawn Lynch. That's a football player who, in his own way, found an avenue to shield himself from the media. He literally put up a wall of complete non-compliance. Like, he just literally sat there for 10 minutes and said, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." He didn't answer a single question. He didn't break character from it. He stayed that way. And even throughout most of his career, you hardly see interviews on him because he is an enigma, So I can empathize with her situation, and I do get that the media, I mean, they got to be able to communicate with you somehow. I mean, you're a world famous athlete. They're got to be able to talk to you in some way without feeling like they are going to offend you at every turn. And, maybe there's a time when we get to that with her as she gets older and she finds a way to deal with it and handle it in a more streamlined manner. I mean, that's something that, I'm sure will come with time. But the woman is 23 years old. She's a young woman, and she's, on it. She's dealing with it on her own. There is no teammates there. It's just her. It's just her. And she's, culturally, she's from a different culture than, the individualist culture of the United States. Her roots are of Japanese descent, and she's part Haitian, part Japanese, I believe. And her culture, you can tell if you look at her and listen to her, a lot of her cultural principles will probably come from Japanese culture, which is kind of the polar opposite of the United States when it comes to the individual and how they're portrayed to the public. Putting people on pedestals, creating icons out of people. Not something that the culture in Japan is particularly endorses. So it's not just about, oh, you're an athlete, you should be tough, you should be able to handle this stuff. There's many different factors at play, and I think we really got to consider that, because when you don't, you can be pretty callous when you're dealing with people if you're not at least mindful of their feelings, or at least try to put yourself in their shoes. It's not as easy as everyone thinks it is. So that is pretty much what I got to say about that. But that's going to do it for this Lineman Life Live. I appreciate you guys once again so much. Okay. I'm seeing some of you guys in the chat. I don't know that I really put an opinion out there that, or pick a side on that. Cause I don't think I've really changed from what I said the first time about Naomi Osaka. I was in support of her doing what she had to do during the French Open. Just to be clear about that. I think you can go back and look at the live streams from when that happened, and you'll hear me talk about it. I'm not opposed to a player creating their own boundaries, creating and taking control of their situation to a certain extent, because the media will build you up and will hold you on this pedestal. And the moment that they feel like you lost it, or the moment that they feel like there's another shiny toy to play with, they'll start tearing you down. They'll start tearing you down as well. So that is something that, is scary for people who are in situations where they are put up on a pedestal, where they are expected to be this kind of person or this kind of athlete. It can be crazy, man. It can be crazy. And when the media decides to tear you down, holy shit, are you going down? You're going down. So, and that is not anything that is exclusive to any one brand of media. It's across the board. When they call your number, they're gonna get to work and they're gonna start pulling you down. So I think we got to be able to look at it from a different perspective, especially when it's a young minority woman who, by everything we can tell, is kind of has some reservations in that regard, that she's not a woman of just one spot, but she deals with shit from the black community as well, which I thought was that was a bunch of crap when that happened. So she gets it from both sides. If you can't see it, then you just don't want to. She's a human being. She is an individual who has her own issues, like we all do, and you got to be able to respect that. And at least when they come out and say that it's that they are feeling like there's pressure getting to them, that we give them the space that they need. From there we begin to rebuild the relationship with the person again after that. So anyways, I do appreciate you guys very much for being on here with me tonight. Make sure you have hit that like button if you haven't already done so, and share these streams with your friends. I am getting ready to start pulling in some really unique content. The football season is coming up. Things are going to be exciting. I think you guys are going to really enjoy some of the things I'm going to do. So with all that being said, hey, everybody, hope y'all have a wonderful Monday evening, Monday night. Hope everybody is out there being good to each other. Stay safe, and I will catch you all on the next one.